morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. It is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure. I'm quite excited today. I'm so excited to share this special space with you, these really precious and very powerful moments with you. I trust that it's going to be magical, marvelous, magnificent, a beautiful memory. Alrighty, so let me set the scene because I'd love for you to join me on a journey whilst I prove to you that Positive Prime is the most amazing supporter you could have that will help you to manifest, where there's serendipity and synchronicity and pleasant surprises and gloriousness and incredibly outstanding breakthroughs. I am going to share with you on this journey a whole heap of very private and personal details that are indeed not shared to impress you, but to impress upon you the possibilities for you. So it's incredible. And I'm going to guide you through Positive Prime whilst I tell you these stories, okay? So the truth is, I have been called by people like Marcy Shimoff the Queen of Manifestation or the Global Goddess of Gratitude, and both of them are accurate. I am extremely lucky and I am amazingly fortunate. I truly am blessed. And so are you. And you have an exquisite power within you. And Tony Robbins talked about the power within decades ago. But you have more than just the ability. You have everything you could want and need. And whilst you're in this 3D world and you're 5-dimensional or beyond, quite frankly, most of us are ignoring, or we're naive to, or we're simply human. And so we forget that we have the ability to be connected with and communicate with and receive from the quantum field. And so that's what this is about. I quite frankly really want for me and for you to be who we genuinely and sincerely and honestly want to be, so that we're comfortable with ourselves and we're confident about ourselves and we're at peace with ourselves. And so that we radiate that. And that so that you can get what you want and need. And so that when you do, you actually are so incredibly appreciative and happy and delighted and thrilled that you did get what it is that you wanted and needed. All right, so I've said a lot very precisely. There are so many people who wish for, desire, set a goal, they get it, and it's not what they actually wanted. And when they're in that experience, they were like, why did I work so hard? Why did I sacrifice so much? Why did I? And so there's this nuance I really want to share with you, and it's about truly loving what it is that you want and need, and rejoicing in that. Okay, so bear with me whilst I do a tiny little bit of admin. I'm going to make my good friend and dear co-creator, Patty Crummer, a co-host, so she can actually help me with, what's the right word? Managing this, so that people who are coming and leaving and re-entering, if they've been knocked out because they've answered a call on their phone, I want to see if I can add her as a co-host. And if not, then I'll have to actually ensure that Mayumi is present and helping me. Alrighty, so given that I am a co-host, I think to myself, I can't make Patty a co-host, but Mayumi has just made Patty a co-host. So can we please just for a moment breathe really deeply? And I think about my inner being and my higher self, and I connect with, and I can actually imagine these force fields, these energy fields around me. It's like auras, if you're into that. It's like my infinite intelligence, it's my light, it's my life force, it's my source energy, it's who I am, it's my connection, fortified and in incredibly profound gratitude with all of the entities and essences and energies and spirits and forces and beings. And for me, it's God, and also the goddesses and gods, because I love what I've learned by studying and being in the cultures that are around Hinduism and Buddhism. So for me, I'm in this state, and it's just pure, ever expanding, ever enriching, ever empowering love, gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness, graciousness, with a compassion for myself and all of you. And I say thank you, 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 thank you. Now I'm thanking my beautiful body for nourishing and nurturing me. And you can do the same. Thank your body for nourishing and nurturing you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing yourself to be in a state that's receptive. Allow yourself to be open to receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alrighty, so I'm going to thank all of those energies across all times, spaces, dimensions, realities, and frequencies. And I'm going to ask that all that is required to be added and created and stored happens, and all that is required to be deleted and removed and destoried and uncreated, that happens, so that we can all think about, but much more importantly, feel what it is that we truly want and need. What are our goals? What are our targets? What are our intentions? And how do we leverage our strengths and our gifts and our talents, our strengths, gifts, and talents, and the circumstances and situations and the serendipity and the synchronicity, so that we enjoy every single moment from now on, and knowing that we can positively prime ourselves for 3 minutes, and that has an impact and consequences and implications for every single 3 minutes thereafter, right? Now, we think in pictures, and it's all about our feelings. And so we turn the volume up and we get intense. I'm lucky. My name is Serafini. And so I feel like I actually resonate with that Italianism of me. And yet I came from a family that is really around that Venetian area. And of course, that used to be the Austrian and Hungarian Empire, and it was probably related to the Iranians at some stage in history. And so am I Italian? No. Am I of the world and of the universe? Yes. But I can do, you know, lots of expression with my hands and my face, and I can actually really embody the emotions. And maybe that has something to do with my heritage, but I'm going to invite you to just dive into it and practice it and allow it, as if you're being overly expressive on a stage, right? And you know, I'm sure you've all heard, if you're into, you know, professional speaking and or acting, you've got to be overly dramatic so that the audience can actually feel it and engage with it, etc. Right? So that's what we're doing here now with our lives, our precious lives, this one life that we have. So I promise you, you've got to imagine, and you've got to feel like you're acknowledging, you have absorbed that it's already done. That it's already done. When I look at a positive prime session, and I'm just going to start screen sharing for you, I'm actually just choosing absolute abundance for the lesson. That's actually me, my niece and my husband, and we're at an amazing resort in Bali. It's private, it's exclusive, and never in a million years would have I have imagined I could have ever have afforded to stay there, but it's owned by a friend of mine from my Bond University days. And he gave me what is Aussies call mates rates. Now, because I have uploaded photographs of moments that are significant and meaningful, that represent gratitude and appreciation, the vision process, the desire process, the manifestation process is supercharged. I'm going to borrow Brett D. Scott's words, supercharged. This is about supercharged freedom. I am still, to my knowledge, the only person in the transformational industry, personal development, self-improvement, who has actually created a tool that's affordable, accessible, and available, that allows you to marry and combine, mix and merge gratitude, the gratitude journaling process, with the vision board process or the dream board process, right? And you cannot have one without the other. They must be intimately and intricately linked. Every single positive prime session needs photographs of yours and what you are grateful for and who you are grateful for and the memories you are grateful for. And when you see them, you are to feel how incredibly blessed and lucky and fortunate you are. And the more you feel that, the luckier you will become, the more blessed you will become, right? The more fortunate you will become. It's just the truth. It's the way it actually works. There's lots of scientific evidence that now validates this, and my life does. Alrighty, so moving right along. Oh, Cameron and I went on this amazing cruise. That's him. And we were captivated almost every single day. So I have lots of photographs in this session of the highlights of our life. Oh, look at us there. That I had always imagined that one day I would go and have dinner, or be at a ball, or be at a function at a palace. And this was in Istanbul. Now, before that happened in real life, and that's not an AI photo with face swapping, which, by the way, we also do over here in Positive Prime Land. right? I had to imagine as if it had already occurred. Now, if you cannot imagine as if it has already occurred, and you can't be really appreciative as if your greatest dreams, desires, and wishes and hopes, as if it's already happened with ease and grace and speed and joy, it cannot and will not. It will stay out there in the quantum field. And it won't be for you, it'll be for someone else. So there are a couple of points I really want to make about this positive priming process. It does play with our reticular activating system. We are on autopilot. I believe that the quantum field will manufacture and produce the circumstances, the situations, the people, the resources, the opportunities necessary so that it becomes reality for you in the most remarkable ways that you couldn't possibly have strategically planned, because that's what's been the evidence of my life in the last couple of years. Oh, there we are at the palace. All right, so this is not just a session just about us, but I want to show you that this is how many photographs of me I have in my positive prime sessions. All right. Now, the reason why I created Positive Prime and I started watching it was because I had a gazillion, trillion, blah, blah, like number that's not fathomable. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, worries, fears, regrets, concerns. And I was consumed by them 20 years ago. I was not enough. I was not pretty enough. I was not smart enough. I was not sexy enough. I was not successful enough. I was just not enough. I wasn't disciplined enough. I didn't have enough willpower. And I'd been to Tony Robbins' Life Mastery University programs, and I basically ended up hating myself because I didn't seem to be able to use the power within. And I thought, what's wrong with me? Why do all these other people have this ability to just absorb what he's saying and then just go do it and take massive action, and their lives just miracles and they feel glorious to live? Well, that wasn't me, right? I was so in my own way and I was self-sabotaging everything. I also had what seemed like ridiculously bad luck. And what I have noticed, particularly over the last 5 to 10 years, is that when I drop out of my connection to the quantum field and my sense of gratitude and appreciation in a very profound way, things don't go the right way. But when I'm absolutely connected, everything is way beyond my wildest imagination. And I have evidence this morning of something almost exactly the same. So I want you to know that in every single Positive Prime session, it's putting you into a state that allows you to be focused, because we get what we focus on, and allows you to actually be in the vibration and the highest frequency connected to the quantum field, so that we actually accelerate you receiving the results. And if you believe it, and you really, truly, truly believe it, it's actually going to be just so much nicer for you. But you've got to actually do the work. You've got to personalize your Positive Prime sessions, right? And you've got to watch a variety of sessions, and you've actually got to refresh your sessions with personal photographs. But I want to tell you 2 things. Round shapes and colors are positively priming you. And when you are positively primed, you're primed for the positivity. Life is magical. When you see images like this, your mirror neurons are being activated by the retina in your eyes, and it's sending messages to your endocrine system, and your brain chemistry is changing, and you are starting to produce more of the magnificence that gets you to think clearly, act decisively, solve complex problems, be solutions orientated, and be creative, right? That's what you want and need. So that's actually beautiful photographs of me laughing. That's beautiful photographs of me laughing. I'm going to go a little faster. The color green positively primes you and allows your body to actually improve your immune function. This is scientifically proven. All we need to do is show you nature and green photographs, and there is a change in your cytokine production. Right? Now, I cannot wait for our professional practitioners of positive prime, so those people who have either already been certified or are being certified to be at our summit in 2025, because the people behind the science are going to be on stage explaining this, and it won't just be me, it'll be the originals who actually did the research and wrote the papers, made sure that they were published. And I am more grateful than you could ever imagine, because my wildest dreams about the gurus or gods or royalty in the fields of positive psychology and neuroscience are actually coming to support us and to be seen by the people who are in the audience at our summit. Cannot tell you how excited I am. Now, let me tell you why your name is there. Because the actual vision board gratitude journal, the process where we get what we focus on and we think in pictures, and the reason why they're photographs, the reality is if you do not see your name, and Dale Carnegie actually said this in, How to Win Friends and Influence People, people's names are their most valuable assets. We pay attention when we hear our name on the other side of the room. Our parents actually used to yell at us or actually say, little cutie, our names are vital, essential, and critical to the process. So the software inserts the name deliberately so that the manifestation is for you. And you're not manifesting for everybody else and not for yourself, right? But it's so that your identity is wrapped around the content, and it's so that you can actually receive, and then you're actually going to process it, you're going to retain it, you're going to be able to recall it more easily. It is quite frankly marvelous. Alrighty, so with positive prime, there is a formula of the types of images and the ratio of images. And when I watch a positive prime session, if there is an image and I've not ever experienced that before, I will try to imagine it is me. I will try to insert myself into the image, and I will try to feel what it feels like. Okay, so I'm just going to slow it down to see if I can actually give you an example. I had forgotten how incredibly intense this personalization was in this particular session. So this is kind of bizarre for me, but all right, let's just imagine this is a photograph you're seeing. This, by the way, happens to be in Croatia. No, it doesn't. It happens to be in Bodrum, Turkey. If you cannot close your eyes and feel what it feels like to dive into that water, and by the way, the snow melt was still happening, so that water was freezing. If you cannot imagine yourself diving into that water and feeling refreshed, now I happen to be a Pisces, so I love water, so this is actually very easy for me. The universe or the quantum field cannot rearrange all of the people, the circumstances, the situations, the resources, the opportunities to create the moments of serendipity and synchronicity that will ensure that in this lifetime, you will be able to appreciate this as a memory. And all of your desires and your wishes and your wants and your needs and your dreams and your visions, you've actually got to convert them like it would happen with alchemy into something you already appreciate. Because if you already had it, you would already appreciate it. I'm going to go to being happier. This gets me out. Of course, I'm pretty amazing, not tired. As you can hear, I'm feeling really powerful. Okay, I'm just going to mute the music there. And the reality is getting everything that you have decided for yourself and committed to for yourself must be represented in pictures in your positive prime sessions. I have had photographs of people who I never imagined would pay any attention to me, right? And I can promise you, in a lot of those cases, I am now in conversations with those people. We have their attention. Some of them have said yes. And it never could have happened if I wasn't at a vibrational alignment at the frequency and in resonance. But I'll tell you what, it never in a million years could have happened if not years ago, I put photographs of them into my positive prime sessions. And who I'm becoming, and as it's evolving and as my own life story is expanding, more and more evidence is showing up. And so when I do the thank you, 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 I'm also thanking for the signs that are showing up and making it absolutely obvious to me that I'm on track. Yesterday I'm walking and it was really early in the morning. Actually, it was the day before. And I'd done a really amazing prayer. I call them prayers. And I'm walking essentially in what we call a national park. It's like I've gone for a bushwalk. I'm an Aussie, right? And at least 50 meters ahead of me on the area over to the side in these, where these eucalyptus trees, they're very tall. I saw this feather out of nowhere and it floated and it floated and it floated and it floated and it landed right at my feet as I'm walking. It's at least 50 meters away. I'm just walking. I have not changed my path. I have not changed the cadence, the tempo, the gait, and it has landed at my feet. And then I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, white feathers are angels just supporting you and letting you know that everything is all as it should be and could be and would be. And I'm open to noticing and being aware, but it's a practice when I'm watching Positive Prime. So here we are at Being Happier. Now, if you cannot find another 3 people in the next couple of months to do this, even if you're an adult, and be lighthearted and playful and have fun and rejoice in this freedom and this dancing and this like unbridled joy, right? This bubbling up over, then I'm going to encourage you to seek out 3 other people who will do this with you as crazy or as mad or as weird. Because if you can be this, you are also in what's very important. That's a state of surrender and non-attachment and letting go and allowing God. Now, what I want you to know about the images in Positive Prime is that you are actually being primed by most of these images. And so you will highly likely, it's probable that you will find yourself in a situation where you may not have been lighthearted and playful and joyful and heaps of fun before, but all of a sudden You are lighter, right? And that's because you are processing these images, and these are actually recreating you so that you're in alignment with your desires, with your dreams, with what's on your vision board, right? Now, when I watch a positive prime session, I know that these smiles, even if I'm not feeling overly smiley, right? Not gleeful, or something's annoyed me, or I'm frustrated, or I've been criticized, or whatever it is, when I watch a positive prime session, I can have faith that my eyes are seeing that smile. That smile is sending messages to my mirror neurons. My brain chemistry is changing. I'm starting to actually have synchronization of alpha and theta waves. I'm in a state of flow. I'm having bursts of gamma. And guess what that is? That's magic. That's magic. That's real magic. That's real life magic, right? That's magic. Everybody wants to be magical. They want to be, you know, the genie who can grant their own wishes and other people's wishes. I promise you, in that state, you are magical. Now, I'm going to say you only need to do this 3 minutes every single day, maybe twice a day, if you're in the practice of positive priming with all of your personalization. But if you're not in that practice and you've got big goals, or you've got big areas you want to see dramatic and enduring changes, maybe you're going to need to watch 10 sessions for 3 minutes a day, right? It depends upon how much you really want what it is that you want and what you're willing to do for it, okay? So this particular photograph is working. You don't even have to know how. It is working. It's making you happier, calmer, more serene, more optimistic, more enthusiastic, more vibrant, more radiant. It is. That's what the science says. It's actually changing the way your brain's operating as well. We can give you complex problems and you will more likely solve them faster. Like, that's just a fact. Let it do its work on you, right? But of course, you've got to be engaged in it and you've got to use it. All right. That is working on you and me right now. That is working for me, by the way, and you're all manifesting for me. So thank you, 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 thank you very much. All righty. So let me slow this down and I'm going to talk about the words that are here. And I want you to know that the thing about positive prime, from my perspective, is the hundreds of sessions that there are. That's powerful content that is like an accelerated learning course opportunity for you. Right. I am healthy. Do you know what happens when I see, or you see, I am healthy? I'm sure you know this, but I'm going to repeat it for you. Your brain is going to go and search. It's going to actually access all of the files in your memory, in your mind. It's going to check in with your knowledge. It's going to check in with your environment, and it's going to say, is this true? I am healthy. It doesn't matter whether it is true or it isn't true. This is the magnificent and marvelous piece next. Ready? You as a human will bring yourself into alignment because of what we call cognitive resonance and cognitive dissonance. You will bring yourself into alignment. It is the way that you are wired. You are conditioned to do this. You will make sure that is a fact for you. You will alter ever so subtly. The changes will be subtle and gradual. So long as you keep seeing I am healthy, you will become healthy. Fact. See a photograph of yourself, see your name, and see statements, and you bring yourself into alignment with the statements. All these positive statements, all these mantras, you actually make true for you. Your brain is wired to do this. Your mind is wired to do this. You are wired to do this. It's your conditioning. Work with it. Use it, leverage it, harness it, understand it, and go with it, right? And so, I am healthy means that I will gather evidence to prove that this is actually accurate for me, because I have an insatiable need as a human to be accurate and right. I must be right. I must be right about myself, the environment, the world, my view on the politics, my view on the economics, my view on society, because that's how we're made. We're made, right? I've done lots of other classes that you can access as a subscriber. As a subscriber, every month I do these kinds of classes and I explain the nuances, the evidence, the resources you should go check out, etc., right? So let's just choose another word, shall we? Look at that, joy. I want you to actually make a decision right now that in the next 24 hours, you will skip somewhere, run as if you were these boys, excited about the lunch that they're having or excited about the ball game that they're just about to enjoy. What is it that these young boys are excited about? All right. I want you to imagine that you are in this photograph. This is how you end up having more fun in your relationships. You imagine it's you. You imagine what it's going to feel like for you to have more fun in your relationships, right? Now, I'm just going to explain to you what happens here because most people don't understand why there are, let's call them frames with 4 images inside. Your brain is actually taking all 4 of these in, it's collapsing it into an average, and your brain is actually surrendering and letting go because it can't actually focus on all 4 simultaneously, one by one individually. So it actually focuses on all 4 as a collective. And this is how we actually create breakthroughs. Shh, don't tell anybody that that's part of the secret formula. It's part of the secret formula, right? The frames that you see with 4 images are actually exquisitely making life easier for you, right? Okay, so what can I be generous with today? What happens when when our mind processes this, we can't help it. We go and solve the problems, right? We go and fix it. We go and make it be. So what can I be generous with today? Is it my time? Is it my energy? Is it my financial resources? Is it my listening? Is it my transferring abundance? Is it my transferring enthusiasm? Is it my kindness? What can I be generous with today? Is it my ability to be analytical? What can I be generous with today? Your brain does go and get an answer, and you are then primed to be more generous today. Perfect, hey? The world needs all of us to be more generous. Isn't that just fabulous? So if you're not embodying, okay, what do I really want now? Everybody just take a deep breath, sit back. Deep breath, sit back. And on a piece of paper, you can write, what do I want spiritually? What do I want financially? What do I want socially? What do I want mentally, emotionally, and physically? What do I want for my business or my project? What do I want for the people I lead? What do I want for the people I serve? What do I really want now? I'm actually going to Tahiti in a couple of weeks, and I can tell you I went through this process this morning and I want absolutely perfect weather. And I have asked, whilst I've been connected to the quantum field, and I'll report back to you in April how the weather was. What do I really want now? I wrote out pages and pages and pages in answer to this in terms of my romantic partner, the person I was going to share my life with, create with, be on the journey with, contribute to. And it was pages and pages, and all of it was written as self-fulfilling prophecies in the positive. And I reread it like literally within the last week. it's been available to me, and I actually put it as a document. I saved it. And I handwrote it out first. And then I found photographs that represented those characteristics and those types of situations and circumstances. And I uploaded it into the session called Romance and Intimacy. And then I watched Romance and Intimacy, and I imagined myself as if I was playing the role in each of those photographs. What would it feel like if I was kissed like that, held like that, caressed like that, uplifted like that, seen like that, heard like that? And as I went through that imagining process, that visualization process, and I had this resource that reinforced it for me, a positive prime session called Romance and Intimacy, with all of my own photographs of all of what I was grateful for and all of the places that I wanted to go to with my lover, my best friend, my husband. And I can promise you, hand on heart, it's 10 years later, and it is all manifested. I even had that I wanted to be on the deck of an overwater bungalow in Tahiti with my husband, sitting there thinking, I am the luckiest, most blessed, most fortunate, most fabulous woman. And guess what? Cameron's father passed away last year, and his little inheritance meant that Cameron surprised me 12 months ago with a booking to go to Tahiti. And because of a friend of ours who lives and works and breathes travel, he organized for us an overwater bungalow. Every single thing on those pages and pages is true. I wrote down I wanted somebody to allow my wings to expand, and I wanted them to literally be the wind beneath my wings. I wanted somebody to honor me and cherish me, respect me and admire me, adore me, be affectionate with me. Now, over the 10 years, Cameron has really become that. And every area where he wasn't quite 10 out of 10, he might actually have improved so much that he's 12 out of 10 now. Right? Does that mean that we don't have our fights? But I wrote down, I spend my life with somebody who is emotionally mature and who resolves our issues without drama and does not escalate them. And I can tell you, my Cameron is the only human in my life who has never exacerbated a disagreement. Never. He just won't up the ante. He actually holds the space and the grace, and we don't escalate. It just doesn't get out of control ever. And it hasn't in 10 years. Now, that's not to say we haven't had disagreements. But I wrote down all of this. I have been writing down, what do I really want from the people who are joining us on the crowdfunding journey as pioneers? I mean, everything. They're lighthearted, they're playful, they're joyful. They're of integrity. They've got real credibility. They're enthusiastic, they're helpful, they're supportive. They go out of their way and they bend over backwards to make connections and to elevate and expand and enrich positive priming. Right? So I did this for Mayumi, and every one of you who has been on our journey for the last 10 years has acknowledged, because you have become aware that Mayumi has had the title, the beautiful woman who works for me, Chief Kindness Officer, because above and beyond anything, she's kind. Right? She's kind to me. She's kind to you. She's kind to the people we serve. I'd had quite a few executive assistants who'd kind of been disappointing, to say the least. And I wrote out, I have the most amazing, thoughtful, considerate executive assistant who is willing to learn, is super smart, is sharp, is fast. I actually can say things once and once only, and it's heard, it's listened to. She actually considers, thinks about what I'm saying and why and how. It's extraordinary. And Mayumi gets better and better and better, and our lives get brighter and brighter and brighter. And it's really interesting because I did write it all out, and I created sessions that would allow me to be the leader I needed to be, that allowed me to be the team member that I need to be, right? And I watched those sessions. So I think that I've said a lot and enough in the last 45 minutes. I want you to think about, what do you really want now? Number 2, you must imagine it has already happened. And if you don't feel this overwhelming gratitude and appreciation for it having already occurred, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Number 3, you must be who you need to be. I am not yet the Stephen Bartlett or the Lewis Howes or the Mel Robbins or the whomever else I might have on my list of people I'd like to emulate, people who are my role models. But I can think about, what are their habits? What actions do they take? What thoughts do they have? And I can actually take those actions and think those thoughts, and I can feel those feelings. So I heard that Stephen Bartlett did keto for 8 weeks of a year. I don't know what keto is, but I found an incredible podcast show with him, with Dr. Georgia Ede. Amazing, right? I listened to the 2 hours. I was concentrating. I was paying attention. And then I went and Googled everything about keto and intermittent fasting. And for 10 days, I did 0 sugar, no carbohydrates, no pasta, no cookies, no crackers, no rice, no potatoes, like no alcohol, no corn, no carrots, like nothing that could be considered would convert. I understand the glycemic index. I have spent nearly 30 years in the spa industry. I have come across my fair share of functional nutritionists and dietitians. I've got a base level of knowledge and experience. I have done intermittent fasting before. Anyway, you know, the most incredible thing is I can be who I need to be now. I can be who I need to be. So I actually can go for the hikes, as Cameron and I do, right up to the top of the mountain that's very near us through, you know, bushwalking. It's 7 kilometers up and back. It's actually pretty hard work. In fact, it's very hard work. It's physically demanding, but it's fantastic. I then somehow seem to find all of these articles that are published around the physical benefits and advantages of walking and walking in nature and so forth and so forth. It reinforces me. Why? My reticular activating system is primed to reinforce all of the good different actions and behaviors. And that's, so number 3, you need to be who you need to be. Number 4, you actually need to eliminate to create space. That might be eliminate people from your life who actually aren't cheering for you. That means anybody you think is jealous, you just eliminate them from your life. Unfriend them. Block them as a contact in your phone. They're not good for you or your future. They hold your dreams away from you. Fact. I actually practiced this in 2024, and some of the people who I would spend some significant time with on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis, I removed them entirely from my life. I did Ho'opono. I thought about them. I imagined them. I remembered all of the great times with them. I thanked them for that. And I literally did thank you. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I did it as much as I needed to do. If I felt like there was a little bit of grief, you know, like that separation anxiety over the next week or month, or I'd remember them and I'd kind of think, oh, I'm missing them. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Thank you. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. There are people who are just not good for me, not good for what it is that I want to do in the world and who I'm being, right? Number 5, you ready? Number 5. Believe in the magic. You can't see it. You can't know it. That's the surrendering and the letting go and not getting caught up in the how. That I kind of think is the hardest for those of us who are control freaks, who feel like we need to be the perfectionist and tell everybody how we think it should be done, could be done, would be done, right? Every single time you catch yourself there. You do the positive psychology related studies where you have students in a class and you treat some students as if they're A students and voila, they become a self-fulfilling prophecy stuff, or you treat some students as failures who are mischief makers and voila, they become bloody mischief makers, and right? The way we treat others is who they become to us. The way we treat situations is how those situations play out for us. I've had to learn this the very hard way. I'm way away from all this all the time, but I am absolutely aware. And every single time I'm good at letting go, surrendering, and allowing others. I mean, Mel Robbins has got this super famous thing called Let Me right now. There was already a domestic violence movement 10, 20 years ago that was actually branded Let Them. So whether it was Mel's idea or this other woman's idea, or, you know, it was actually a universal law that was written about in the scriptures by, you know, the mystics in India or in Tibet or in China or in Istanbul 5,000 years ago, whatever, the let them. The other thing is that when we allow people to delight and surprise us, sometimes they delight and surprise us. And so every single time you catch yourself allowing somebody to delight and surprise you, be in the energy or the vibration of appreciating that specifically, and you will find more people will delight and surprise you. More people will delight and surprise you. Now, obviously, if we are leaders and managers, this is critical. It's essential. It's important. It's not just about delegating. It's being honest about whether you actually trust these people to bring their best. Allow them and appreciate them for their best. You ready for number 6? It's a classic Tony Robbins. Take massive action. Gazillions of them, tiny little ones. Now, James Clear became famous with 1%. Tony Robbins has been talking around 1% improvements, exponential. Everybody overestimates what they can do in a year. Everybody underestimates what they can do in a decade. Right. Now, massive action. So long as you are in the state of being positively primed. The return on invested intention and time and energy into those actions will be exponential. So if you want exponential returns, if you want to be richly rewarded, then be positively primed before you take the action, right? Be in that state of flow, connected to the quantum field. That's connected to your purpose. That's connected to your why. That's actually living out Dharma, right? I actually think that just might be the key that turns the lock that you haven't been able to get through up until now. Massive action. Now, people like Jack Canfield write in the Success Principles, take responsibility for yourself, and only for yourself, but take responsibility for yourself. He also writes things like ask others to help you. So I'm going to ask, will you please go out there and share our new Pioneer program with as many people as you possibly can? Because I'm going to make a promise to you. There will be coaches and therapists and HR directors and chief people officers, and there will be leaders of programs and teachers. There will be people who, when they actually find out what's going on in the room in Cleveland, Ohio, they will wish that they were there. They will wish that they were there. I can promise you that. And I will promise you they will be upset that they actually missed out if they miss out. So, manifest all of the circumstances and situations and people and products and services and opportunities and serendipities and synchronicities and signs. Manifest everything that you want and need to make sure that you are the greatest force for good on the planet that we've ever seen. Right? That's the greatest gift we can all be. Let's be not just the positive change we wish to see in the world. Let's be incredible forces. And that means we must be in the state of primed positively with our reticular activating system focused on what it is that is going to make us feel fabulous and fantastic and fulfilled. I hope that this hour has been useful for you. Please let me know. If you've got any questions, let us know. I really want you to go out there and share Positive Prime. There is nothing as great as Positive Prime on planet Earth that combines gratitude journaling with what we know about the way that the mind and the brain works, and vision boards or dream boards or goal setting. There's nothing on planet Earth that exists like this. Nothing. And we are ahead of the game, and we are absolutely setting the pace, right? And what we are developing in terms of our prototypes for what we're releasing over the next couple of years, astounding, awe-inspiring. And there's one little gift that I want to leave with you today, and Mayumi can share with you in the chat an incredible little video that will give you some clues as to what we're really up to.
do what nobody else is doing.
Actually, do you know what? I'm going to share it for you. And I'm going to explain what it means. This is a movie about Sir John Templeton and his life in Tennessee. And the chapters behind, now can you see what I'm doing here? When you watch it, I want you to notice a couple of things. Are you leaning in? I want you to notice that most of the people who are speaking are Templeton's family members. And then there are two other significant voices. One is Dr. Stephen Post, and the other is Dr. Martin Seligman. And I want you to think about being in Cleveland, Ohio, as an absolute non-negotiable, as a you must make that happen. And I want you to think about who else is going to be there because of the way that Dr. Stephen Post plays a role as a mentor to me and what Martin Seligman is doing for him. And what that has to do with the future of Positive Prime. So, above and beyond that, there's a tiny little video, and the movie that we are creating is going to actually have a trailer like this created as we film in Cleveland in May. So registration's closed. There's only a limited number of people who can be in the room. That is absolutely the truth. But I have used Positive Prime to manifest something that will be historic. And I'm not exaggerating. And the people in the team know already what we're doing and how it's happened and why. And so I'm going to leave you one last thing. If you haven't seen it, you must. All right. So let me just screen share for you. This is a little 2 minutes. Please, 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 please watch it and imagine that we're about to do something similar, and it'll be about 3 minutes and Positive Prime. And then come here and watch this, right? And I want you to think about every single word that you hear and know that Positive Prime is the magic pen. All right, Positive Prime is the magic pen. And so this link is also in the chat. Thank you, 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 thank you. I was so brave and courageous whilst in a positively primed state in having a conversation with Stephen Post about who would be on my wish list of the people to present and who would be on my wish list for the people who would be in the movie that we're making. Every single moment of the last couple of months has been me imagining that they'd already said yes, that they'd already been filmed. I'd imagined myself sitting, watching them on stage. I've imagined myself feeling what it feels like to have millions of people watch the movie and love it and share it, and millions of people becoming aware of some of the people who are in that movie, and millions of people being positively priming, their days and being forces for good and kindness and compassionate care and honesty and truth and encouragement and radiance and grace. I imagine millions of people more peaceful because they're primed positively. They're peaceful within themselves, and they're a force that helps to generate peace around them. Imagine. All right. Step 2, feel what it feels like as if it's already done. Feel what it feels like as if it's already done. If it's already done, it's the way all the positive prime sessions look. People are happy and healthy, right? All I've got to do is watch lots of positive prime sessions in order to be in resonance with that. All I've got to do is have millions of people view personalized positive prime sessions, and that will be what we create. And so I have to be here and say, that's what we have created. And be in the most intense appreciation and gratitude and thankfulness that that's what we created. We contributed to creating that. That's what we did as supporters of Positive Prime, as subscribers of Positive Prime, as pioneers with Positive Prime, as explorers with Positive Prime, right? That's what we did. That's what we did. As sponsors, as investors, as friends, as teachers, as therapists, as healers, as guides, as guardians, as coaches, as mentors, as role models. That's what we did. I could be here all day saying thank you, right? I'm practiced at this. Love you all. Goodbye.